You ever get a phone call from your past that makes your stomach drop? That's what happened to me. 2 years after I divorced my abusive ex-husband, I picked up the phone, and the woman on the other end asked, "Hi, is this Mrs. Pause?" She used my old married name. "We're trying to reach her husband about a missed vehicle payment." My heart sank. Pause, my ex-husband's car. The one that used to be in my name. And just like that, the memories came flooding back. The manipulation, the screaming, the lies. But this time, things were going to be different. Because this time, karma had finally dialed his number. If you've ever been used, betrayed, or made to feel powerless, stick around. Because this is the story of how I stopped being his victim and watched karma hand him the kind of revenge no one could have scripted better. Gentle music fade in. If you love stories about justice served cold, hit that like button, subscribe, and let's dive into the mess that started it all. For context, I'm 37 now. But back in 2018, I was married to a man who could only be described as a narcissistic hurricane wearing a smile. He was charming until he wasn't. Behind closed doors, that charm turned into shouting, gaslighting, and threats that made my sister whisper, "You're going to end up a Dateline episode if you don't leave him." And she wasn't wrong to worry. He controlled everything. My emotions, my money, my safety. He wasn't just emotionally abusive. He was financially abusive too. He'd blow money on useless things, rack up debt, and somehow make me responsible for it. So when he decided he needed a new car, guess who got dragged into it? Beat me. He had terrible credit, of course. 50,000 in debt, no savings, no accountability. But I had great credit. So he came to me with that fake, "Baby, it's just a signature," smile and said, "We're married, what's yours is mine, we're in this together." I co-signed his car lease. Not only that, the payments came straight from my account. I know. Sighs. It was stupid. But at the time, I thought love meant sacrifice. Turns out, it just meant signing your soul away on paper. A few months later, I got into a serious car accident. Someone T-boned me. My car was totaled, but I was lucky I walked away. While I waited for my insurance payout, I started shopping for a replacement car. That's when my ex's true colors got even uglier. He tried to convince me, no demand, that I use my payout to buy him a BMW. Manual transmission. Triple the price of my insurance check. I just stared at him and said, "You realize I can't even drive a stick, right?" He didn't care. He called me selfish for not buying him the car he wanted. That was the first time I finally stood up to him. And the moment I saw that flash of rage in his eyes, I knew this marriage was over. I quietly started moving my things out, piece by piece. One bag of clothes here, a box of books there. Just enough that he wouldn't notice, until it was too late. When I finally told him I wanted a divorce, I came prepared. I handed him an Excel sheet listing every penny he owed me. From unpaid bills, rent, and yes, the car payments. I gave him 60 days to take over the lease, find a new co-signer, and get my name off that contract. After that, his problems were his alone. And within a week, he already had a new girlfriend. He posted photos of them online, kissing, laughing, captioned "the love of my life." The kicker? One of those photos showed her driving the car still in my name, the one I was still paying for. That was the final straw. Low, dark tone. The petty, angry, betrayed ex-wife officially entered the chat. I knew he was still using my Netflix, so I changed the password while he was mid-episode. Then I called the internet company and canceled the Wi-Fi. And finally I texted him, "Since your new girlfriend's living in my house and driving my car, you've got 24 hours to take my name off that lease or find a new co-signer." His response? A long message about how I was being unreasonable and selfish. Mocking tone. Apparently I needed to calm down. "Oh honey." Pause, smiling voice. I was calm. I was ice cold. The next morning, I called the leasing company myself. I explained everything to this sweet woman on the phone. The abuse, the divorce, the car. She listened quietly, then said, "Don't worry, darling. I got you." 20 minutes later, my name was off the lease paperwork. The account was being shifted, and he'd be notified the next business day. When I texted him that night, I said, "If you're going to lie, at least make it one I can't verify." He blew up my phone with excuses, but it didn't matter anymore. I was free. Or at least I thought I was. A few weeks later, I met his dad to hand over some of his things and sign one last set of papers for the car. That's when I learned the best little secret. His dad had reluctantly become the new co-signer. And that man hated debt more than anything in the world. I tucked that information away. Pause. I didn't know it yet, but I just pocketed my winning card for the future. Fast forward to 2020. The world was locked down. And suddenly, my phone started ringing again. It was the leasing company, calling for my ex. Every 2 weeks. Like clockwork. Same woman, same script. They are trying to reach my ex's husband about a vehicle issue. Each time, I explained we were divorced, I wasn't on the lease. And each time they apologized but called again. I finally asked for a letter confirming I was removed, and that my credit wouldn't be affected by whatever mess he created. When I got the letter, I noticed something strange. He'd never updated his address. They were still sending everything to our old house. Slight laugh. So I filed that little tidbit away, too. Months later, I got another call. By then, I was exhausted. I asked to speak to a manager just to end this nightmare once and for all. He called me back, sounding uneasy. He couldn't say why they needed to reach my ex. Confidential reasons. But I didn't need him to say it. I already knew. He'd stopped paying for the car. I told the manager I had no way to contact him. But before we hung up, I added casually, "I noticed your files still have his old address. I could give you his dad's current one if that helps." The manager hesitated, then said, "I can't ask for it, but if you're willing to provide it, I'll take it." So I did. His dad's address, his dad's home phone. And that was that. I hung up, leaned back in my chair and smiled, because I knew what was coming next. A phone call from a leasing company to a man who hated debt more than anything. And when he learned his son had defaulted on 8 months of payments on a car he co-signed, that was the day Carmen knocked on their door. I never heard from my ex again. No calls, no messages, no drama. But in my mind, I can still see his dad's face when that phone rang. And for once, I didn't feel guilty. I just felt free. Sometimes, revenge doesn't need fireworks. Sometimes it's quiet. It's legal. And it's deliciously cold. Pause, gentle exhale. I didn't destroy his life. He did. I just helped the universe dial the right number. If this story gave you chills, hit that like button. It helps more people find stories like this one. And tell me in the comments, what's the coldest act of karma you've ever seen? Don't forget to subscribe for more stories where karma always finds its mark.